In the recording. All right. Let me open something. Okay, so before starting my class, so I just want to understand. So where exactly you're lacking? Okay, so you guys already know your MuleSoft. Okay, so why we are using it, and what we are actually doing it in MuleSoft. Okay, so when you're actually going for interviews, what I feel is, okay, so whenever I'm going to take any interviews, people who are learned MuleSoft, they are lacking in project explanation. So because they really don't work in projects, they could not possess that particular expertise. Okay, so they will try to tell me, hey, we worked on some project, and there is too much of not in a consistent manner. They are not able to put it. Okay, so I want to clear that thing where I'm trying to tell you, like, what you guys needs to tell, like, whenever they're asking about your project. Okay, and we are trying to create some applications, how we are going to create in our real-time projects. Okay, there are too many steps. Okay, like every level we will try to possess some uh, you know standards. Okay, we are trying to discuss those things also, but I want to understand what else you guys are struggling. Okay, so that I can address those things also. Okay, so if you guys have very specific things, hey, Amar, so we are facing this particular issue, you can ping me over the chat, or you can unmute yourself, and you can discuss that thing as well. Okay, so let me share my screen. Do you guys have anything very specific to that?
Yeah, can I speak?
Yeah, yeah, go on. No
Yeah,
issues.
they are asking us real-time scenario. Why are you going for that particular component? You can go for another component. One is that thing I am lacking, and another thing is when an error has occurred, which is the layer first you are going to check? They are asking that question. And the
Mhm.
third one is like they are giving some data view scenarios and they are asking us to do it.
Okay. So coming to the data weave scenarios, do we really, I mean, so it is basically case to case. Okay. So we could not expedite, hey, they are going to ask this particular data weave, right? So data weave, one thing that we need to understand, what are the things that we are actually doing in real-time projects. That one part that if we are comfortable, then we can achieve that. The second thing is the exception handling. Okay, where we are actually doing the exception handling, which layer you are going to do it, and what you are achieving your exception handling in your real time process. Yeah, that particular specific scenario we need to discuss about it, because like without exception handling there will be no project case. Okay, obviously when you are creating any project, there will be some errors, right? So you need to deal with those errors. Okay, there is no exception for that. And coming to the other thing, so what they are asking, other than exception handling data view.
Why you are particularly going for that component?
Okay,
Why
so
can't?
why you are going for that particular content? Okay, so let us try to understand this. So we have, let us say we are getting something like a huge number of records. Okay, what we have for each, we have parallel for each, we have batch process, right? So every connector will have its, cons and pros. Okay, so which means that we need to understand in which scenario that particular connector is fitted. Okay, what are the drawbacks of that particular connector, and what are the good things that is capable of doing that particular connector. So we can explain that particular scenario. Hey, why we are going to this other than this one? Okay, so my suggestion is, so whenever we are trying to tell you about one particular connector, don't stick to only the specific properties, guys. There are a lot many other properties you have in that particular connector. You will not go to the advanced section anymore. Okay, so most of the people will try to see the basic section and they will try to configure something, and they don't actually go to the advanced section of it. So go to the particular connector, and there are multiple properties, attached to it, and try to learn something. So try to, understand that particular property. So why it is used. Okay. So that particular advance, or, your request response level of properties will define the actual use of that particular connector. Okay, so that way you can understand, hey, why you are using that particular connector, not with this particular thing. Okay, so we need to understand the connector level, what it is capable of, in which scenario we are going to use it. Okay, so you need to justify that way. So you can get to that particular point. Hey, we are using this particular thing because of this particular use case. Okay, you need to explain that way. Okay, all right. Anything else?
M unit.
Okay, M unit. Okay. See, M unit. So do you guys know, most of the companies, they will have some code coverage. Okay. So let us say, like 80%, some of the companies, whereas your bankings and your financial institutions, they need 100% of your M unit coverage. Okay. So without this particular tool, most of the projects will not be there. So they will try to ask you, obviously, like how you are doing M units. Okay, you need to understand multiple ways of doing your M units. Okay, and which scenario we are trying to mock it. Okay, which scenario we need to improve that particular, overall coverage of that particular M unit. So all these things they will try to ask you. Okay, so I mean, so later point of time, like, so at the end of the sessions might be, so we will try to do that particular units also. Okay. So we are going to cover that. See, this particular training, what we are trying to, give you is, it is not specifically, hey, we are implementing some API. So, we are creating some API led architecture. It is not like that. So whatever we are trying to use it in this particular training, so it will be like all those concepts, we will try to use it in your real-time projects. Okay. So these M units, exception handling and other stuff, why they are stressing on you in the interviews are, basically you need to work on that particular pieces extensively for every API that you are going to develop. Okay. So that's why they are going to assess you on that particular thing. Okay. So if you are into some project, and if you don't know what is M unit and how to do this particular exception handling, you are not going to add any, value to that particular project. So they are going to assess you on that. Why? Because they are extensively using that particular feature in your real-time projects. Okay. So when I'm saying real-time projects, it is not different from one particular project to other project, guys. Okay. So we are all using same streamlined projects, the same features we will try to use it. Okay, same kind of standards that we are going to use it. Okay, might be your tools will differ. Okay, someone will try to use Jenkins, someone will try to use TeamCity, someone will try to use Azure DevOps. Okay, those tools will different. Okay, some naming conventions might be different, but the features or how we are developing our APIs is one and the same. So it will go in a parallel direction, all your projects. Okay, so if you learn one particular project in a proper standard way, hey, we are trying to do it M units this way. Okay, we are trying to configure the standards this way. We are going to provide the security this way. So it is one and the same in all of your projects. There will be some minute changes, but when you are explaining the project in this particular way, hey, we developed this particular project, I mean, my project in this way. So they are going to understand your capability of, hey, this particular guy is going to help me on my project in this particular aspects. They are going to assess you. Okay. So it's all about how you are explaining your project. Okay. And the moment they are asking, hey, tell me about yourself and your, last project. Okay. What they are expecting is how you implemented your last project. They are going to ask you. Okay. So if you are telling that particular story, they are going to extract some of the information and they will try to ask you some more questions on that particular thing. Okay. If you are confident enough that, hey, I built this particular thing, there is no one to cross check that particular thing. So they are going to ask you the questions on that particular aspect only. Okay, you're giving us a direction to the interviewer. Hey, I know this particular concept. Try to ask me the questions on that particular concept. Okay, you're giving some inputs to the interviewer, and that particular interviewer is going to follow that particular path. Okay, there will be some interviewers, okay, who are asking their use cases, which means that let us say he worked on some particular project, he got into some issue, he tried to resolve that particular issue. He might take 3 or 4 days time, so he might ask that particular question. Okay, we can't anticipate every question, but at least if we are trying to give, hey, if he is asking 100 questions, not 100 questions generally, let us say he is asking 20 questions. If you are trying to answer some related information out of 15 questions, he is good to push you back to the second level of interview. Okay, so that's why we need to understand how your real-time project will actually, we will try to build it inside your organizations. Okay, so mostly every organization will follow the same route path. Okay, same kind of standards. There will be so much very slight differences will be there, but you need to understand how we are going to implement. Okay, so let us try to go to the further. Okay, so I believe my screen is visible to you, right?
No.
Uh, you guys are
No,
not
No,
able
sir.
to. Oh, just a moment.
now we can see.
No, okay, sir.
Okay, just a moment. Is it very tiny? It is able to. You're able to see it, right?
We are able to see it.
All right. Fine. So, what is this particular document?
Architecture.
Okay. So this is an architectural document, a high-level architectural document. Okay. So whenever you're working on some project, you need to understand the first thing. Hey, what is my external systems? Okay. So what you are trying to do it in your MuleSoft, you are trying to connect two different external systems, which means that this particular external systems are related to your client. Okay. So let us say I'm working on some, Amazon or Flipkart or something. Just a moment, guys. Don't draw anything. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to work on some Flipkart or Amazon. Okay. So my Amazon wants to integrate with some different payment gateway. Okay. A new payment gateways came up. So I need to integrate with that particular thing. So in that particular thing, my Amazon database is one system and the other external payment gateways are the another external system. I want to create some API between this particular thing to exchange billing related information. Okay. So in response, they will try to send it back saying some acknowledgement. Hey, this particular order is placed or something like that. Right. So what we are trying to deal in MuleSoft, we are trying to create some integrations between two external systems. Okay. Whether it is Salesforce or some other thing. Okay. It doesn't matter. But ideally, if you are asking me, hey, Amar, so how many external systems we do have in a typical project? Okay, so if you ask me, there will be something like hundreds of application layers. Okay, so there will be something like a 200 different experience APIs will be there, or a 150 different system APIs will be there, something like that. You are dealing with that particular thing. Okay, don't think that, hey, I do have something like one particular external system or one or two external systems that we are trying to create some integrations between. It is not same all the cases. Okay, you will have for a typical client, there will be hundreds or 200s of different external systems. Okay. And what they will try to do, they will try to take in something like 6 to 7 different external systems and they will club it as a project. Okay. So in a typical organization, there will be 200 different mules of developers. And inside that particular 200 developers, one particular team, let us say 10 developers or 12, 20 developers, will try to separate it as a team and they will work on something like a 6 or 7 different external systems and they are trying to create some APIs on that. Okay. Once that particular piece is there, completed, again, they will work for the same client for the different external systems. Okay. You need to think that way. So If someone is saying that, hey, I'm working on some particular client, you don't work on all the 200 systems once at a time. Okay, you will try to create APIs between 6 to 7 different external systems as a single project. Okay, so we are trying to explain that way. So my exact expectation from you is, like, if I'm trying to tell you something like a 6 different APIs, you need to understand how to create the other 3 APIs, something like that. Okay, so we are trying to explain that way. So you need to tell this particular same project in your interviews. And when you are actually doing this particular thing, okay, whatever we are trying to explain. So we are not only concentrating on your API-led connectivity, but whereas how to configure your properties, how to, promote your changes back to your development environment, how to deal with your Jira, how to deal with your Bitbucket, okay, and how to deal with your standards, how to deal with your documentation part. All these things we are trying to explain, okay. But what you need to understand is not just like listening to the classes. You need to work on that particular pieces. See, if you're just listening to the classes, you might not put it in a proper way. So not in a constructive way. Okay. So once you are doing something, even if you are not able to, put the statements, you can tell that, hey, I worked on this particular way, so that they can understand, hey, this guy has worked on something which is in an API-led architecture, and he's going to follow some standards. He might push you to the second round, or might be, if it is a final round, then you're good technically. Okay. Because this is the way that we are trying to develop in your projects. Okay. So you're able to see this particular screen, right? What is these things? Okay, so we have this particular thing, we have this particular thing. What are these things? What we call them? These things? What we call?
And systems.
Yeah, perfect. End systems or external systems.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I'm saying external system, it doesn't mean that, hey, it will go to some, it will host it in somewhere else, something like that. Okay. There will be chances that these systems are managed by your client or some other different organization. Okay. But these are end systems. End system in the sense, like, this particular guy, he will have some data and he wants to exchange it to this other system. Okay. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to create some flows, APIs, microservices, web services. People will call multiple ways. But ideally, what we are trying to do, we are trying to create some software component which is going to transform some data from one point to the other system. Okay, that is what I call. Okay, so these are nothing but my end systems or external systems. Whenever they are saying that, hey, tell me about your last project. Okay, you will try to put it this way. Hey, I worked on this particular project name. Okay, so let us say in this scenario we have Cygnus. Okay, I worked on Cygnus project. Okay, where my I do have external systems like Salesforce, Mobility, okay, FTP system, or Service Cloud, Oracle Field Service Cloud, something like that. You will try to put it this way. And you need to tell them, hey, we developed this particular project using API-led architecture. Okay. And once you put it down, you need to explain, hey, how you are worked on this particular thing. Okay. Or if you are stopping that particular project explanation. I mean, so in general, in your interviews, once they are asking about your project, they are not expecting you to explain all the APIs that you have developed. So they are not concerned about it. Okay. But they want to understand your external systems, or your, someone said end systems. So they are mostly trying to understand what is the end systems that you worked on. Okay. And what they are trying to ask you is the second question: what are the connectors that you have worked on? So the moment this particular question they are asking, so they are asking, these kind of assessments. They are trying to understand it. At what level your developer understanding is there, or which components they want to concentrate on your interview to assess you what kind of developer knowledge you have. Okay. The moment they are asking, hey, what are the connectors that you have? Ideally, what we will tell, will tell, hey, I have HTTP listener, HTTP requester, okay, a database connector, a Oracle, some other thing like Salesforce, ServiceNow, something like that. Okay, the moment you're telling about that particular thing, so they are understanding, hey, this particular guy will have some knowledge on HTTP, protocol. They have something like JMS kind of connectivity they do have. So they will try to ask about the questions on that particular area. So you are giving all the information what you learned. Okay, so they are sticking to that particular thing. Okay, so these are the end systems. Okay, fine. You're telling that I created this particular project using API-led architecture. So what API-led architecture, what it consists? We have 3 layers, right? What are the 3 layers?
Experience layer, process layer, and system layer.
Okay, experience, process, and system layer. Cool. Okay. So I'm trying to talk about this particular thing, guys. Okay. What is this? Get account information. Okay. OEEBS to SFDC, something like from this particular thing to this particular thing, Salesforce. Okay. Which means that this guy wants some data. Okay. Account information, which is there in my Salesforce. Okay. So this will have some account information. Now, this particular account information, this particular system needs it. Okay. So in this particular scenario, what is my experience API?
Salesforce.
Okay. Any
No,
other
Oracle,
things?
Oracle ABS.
Oracle APIs. Okay. See, why my experience API is this one. Okay. Now, just try to understand. Hey, I want to create this particular OEBS to SFDC. Okay, so let me put it this way. See, whenever you're trying to tell this story, right? So you need to put it in a clear direction. Nice. Okay. So whether if they might ask you, hey, can you tell me about one API that you have developed? Okay. So you need to explain them, hey, I worked on this particular thing using API-led connectivity. This is my experience layer. This is my system layer. What I have done in my system layer, what I have done in my experience layer, how to interact this particular things, how I provide the security, all these things you need to put it in a proper way. Okay. So we are trying to understand, just a moment. Okay. Let me put it. Okay. So we are trying to tell about something like OEBS to SFDC. Okay. So this particular API we are trying to talk about. Okay. So this is something like get account information. Okay. So someone is saying that, hey, in this particular API, if I'm trying to explain what might be my experience API, OEBS. Okay. So why OEBS is my experience API? Because this is requesting some data, guys. Okay. Which means that there is some application. Okay. So what we are calling, this is something like OEBS. Okay. Oracle e-business suite. Okay. Don't worry about what is this OEBS. Okay. It is a Oracle product which is providing a business suite. Okay. So it is something like a ERP system. Okay. It will have all the applications. What it requires is some account information is there in the Salesforce and it wants to get that particular information. Okay. Now, any request from this particular OEBS system, what they will try to do, they will try to call always this particular experience API. Okay. It is not only like, hey, I want some data from SFDC. If this particular OEBS system wants some data from another system, let us say SAP or Salesforce, they always call this particular endpoint. Which endpoint? Whatever we are exposing under experience API. Experience API is, what is this particular experience API? It is also a mule project. Okay.
Yes, you can call it as consumer, right? Yes.
Yeah. So this particular experience API is also a mule project, guys. Okay. So in our normal classes, okay, when I'm trying to say, hey, let us try to create some database connector or this particular Salesforce connector, okay, to get some information, what we will try to do, we always create one particular project and we put it everything, transformation messages and everything into one particular flow and we will try to call it. But in real times, it is not the case. What we are trying to do, we are trying to create experience API as a separate project and system API is a separate project, and process API is a separate mule project. Okay, it is nothing else. We are trying to create different mule projects. Okay, so this is a experience API of my OEBS system. Okay, we will name this particular project as experience API of OEBS. Okay, they will try to name something like EAPI, EA, something like that. Okay, so to know that this is an experience API. Now, so this is something like account information. I'm trying to get it. Okay. So what might be my method name and resource name in RESTful APIs in RAML? What is my
Get.
method?
Get
Get
method.
method.
Get
Yeah,
method.
I have a get method. Good. What is my resource? What might be my resource name?
Get account.
Not get account. Account is my resource. Okay. We are trying to get that particular account information, okay, through this particular resource endpoint. Okay, this is what we call it as resource endpoint, which means that which endpoint or which URL we are trying to extract the information, what we call it as resource endpoint. So this is my get account. Okay, so what kind of information it is providing? Account information, where it needs to connect with. Okay, so in this, hey, OEBS will try to call this particular get account and so this particular resource it is trying to extract. Okay, and what about this one? And one more thing is, do you have any people who are not able to understand Telugu?
I know a little of it,
Okay.
so it would be helpful if you can continue in English.
Okay, all right. Fine, yes. I mean, so most of the people are in Telugu, so they might something in Telugu also. Sometimes I'll switch back to that. Okay. Uh, don't, hesitate that. Okay, if you're not able to understand, just put it that. Okay, fine. So I have my experience API. Okay. Now, what is my system API in this particular API?
SFDC.
SFDC is my system API. So it is also a mule project, okay, which we are trying to implement in our AnyPoint Studio. Okay. What about the method and resource for this? Here we written get account. What about here?
This is the same account.
Post.
Another is a post.
Post.
No, no. It is also get and it is also account. Why? We are trying to get some account information, guys. Where we are trying to get it? From SFDC. We are not creating any records, right? So don't confuse with this particular thing. So it is also get method and it is exposed under where? Inside my SFDC system API. Okay. So this is where I'm trying to confuse you in the most of the interviews. See why I'm trying to confuse you. Okay, so if someone is saying that, hey, I created some API, so definitely my point is, what is your experience API and what is your system API? So I want to understand what is the essence that you get it. Okay, and I will try to ask them, hey, what is the method inside your system API? What is your method inside your experience API? So the moment I ask them, if they are telling that, hey, get account in experience API, get account in system API, ultimately I'll try to confuse them. Hey, why not post? So you need to stick to that particular basics. What we are trying to do, we're trying to getting the information from SFDC. Okay, so when we are retrieving some information, it will be always get in every layer. There is no post at all. Okay, so stick to that particular basics and make sure that you're confident enough on that particular resource. But so this particular get account or this one, so who is going to give you?
So generally in system API, only get method will be allowed. I mean, we could follow because we don't allow to change the data from the providers. So that's why we generally use only get method. I guess. I mean,
It is not the correct one. Okay, so we can see if it is okay. So if I want to post something, okay, to some external system, okay, I need to have this particular thing, guys. Okay, so there is post methods and get methods. Okay, there might be some bit of understanding gap. but there will be some post methods as well as get methods. Okay. If we have some strict API, which I am not allowed to update any record or create any record, obviously they will have only get methods. But there is a chance, so there will be always a chance that you will have get methods, post methods, and patch methods, put methods, everything will be there. Okay. It is not like, system APIs will only have get methods. Okay. It is a wrong perception. Okay. If your end system is strictly, retrieving the details only, so it is not allowed to post anything, then obviously whatever the statement that you are putting it, so it is right. Okay. Now, so this is my system API, SFDC system API. Okay. So this is how I'm constructing it. Okay. So this particular information, what they will try to do in real time, OEBS system, my Oracle Business Suite will call this particular experience API, get accounts, saying that, hey, it will try to send some account ID. Hey, get some account information related to this particular account ID. So what this particular experience API will try to do, it will try to call my system API through what? A HTTP requester inside a flow. Okay. So my get account flow will have a HTTP requester, which is going to call my system API. You need to explain this way. So my system API, what it will try to do in system API is what we are trying to do it. We're trying to deal with my connectivity part only. Okay. So every connectivity we will try to carry down in my system APIs only. So inside this particular system API, what I will have, I'll have a Salesforce connector. Okay. So what it will try to do, it will try to extract the account information, whatever the account ID we are trying to pass it. Sorry. Can you guys go on mute, please? Okay. So I have my system API inside that. So I do have a Salesforce connector, okay, which I'm trying to extract some information and I'm trying to send it back to my experience API. At what kind of this thing will do? I mean, so what kind of transformation I will try to do in my system API? So I always try to send it through application JSON. Most of the projects will follow the same route. Why? Application JSON is a lightweight, data type, so that there will be no network latency. Okay. So I will try to send that particular application JSON. So whenever you are trying to interact with Salesforce, what kind of data type it will try to give you? Do you guys work on Salesforce connector?
Java, application/Java.
Java.
Application/Java. Okay. So if I'm trying to send it back to this thing, okay. So I'll not send it this way, application Java or something. I will not try to send it. So I will try to do some transformation inside my system API also. That is something like from whatever the external system I'm trying to get it. So I will try to convert into application JSON and I will try to send it to my experience API. So in my experience API, any transformation is required. So I will try to do apart from application JSON. Okay. Any transformation, my external system, my source system is required. So I will try to make that particular transformation and I will try to give it to OEBS. So you need to construct this way. So whenever you are telling your API story, okay. So I worked on some API. So I used my OEBS experience API because OEBS, Oracle Business Suite, is my source system. It is required some account information. It will try to pass me an account ID using query parameter. So I will extract that particular query parameter. I will pass it to my Salesforce system API. From that, I will try to extract some information from Salesforce and I will send it back to my experience API. And in my experience API, I'll try to do transformation and I will send it back to OEBS system. So this is how I need to tell it. So the moment you are telling this way, you're putting your API into a very constructive way. Hey, this is my experience API. This is my system API. It is my external, my source system is connecting to my experience API and I'm going to system API, extracting the information and again giving it to experience API. From experience API, I'm giving it to my source system. So if you are putting this way, you're explaining point to point. Okay, there are no question that they're trying to cross check your validity. Okay, but they will stick to the pattern. Okay, whatever the pattern that you are saying, they will try to stick to. So hey, they might ask you, hey, where is this particular process API? So you need to explain, hey, in this particular scenario, I don't have any major transformation. So we are trying to do it in experience layer, and we don't require a process API in this particular scenario. So I can use my experience API, my system API directly. Okay, there is no one stopping that particular implementation. But where I will try to use my process API. So if I'm trying to get my data from different system APIs and consolidating that particular transformation, I will try to use my process API, because orchestration we will try to do it in your process API. Okay, so if you are telling this way, so they will try to ask you, hey, how to create your security, how you provide your security, what is your answer? Okay, so at least one security you will try to know, right? At least like client ID, client security, you always know. So
Yeah.
how you are providing your client ID, client secret? If they are asking you, what is your explanation?
We apply client ID enforcement on top of our experience API, and we will share that client ID and client secret with the client applications like users.
Okay, so which level you will try to create your client up? Okay, so let us say, do you guys know automated policies? Anyone?
Automated policies means
Okay, that's okay. That's fine, no issue. See, automated policies are nothing, guys. Okay, so whenever, see, if you are applying client ID, client secret for all your APIs, okay, whatever the experience APIs, whatever the system APIs, if you are deploying it to your API manager, you are creating your API manager policy, right? You will try to create an automated policy. If you are creating an automated policy, you don't require to create policy for each and every API. So it will be automatically applied. So it is something like a global level policy for your environment. Okay. So if I have that particular thing, what you will have, the same client ID, client secret will be applied here also, system API. So if you're calling your system API from your experience API, it is also asking client ID, client secret. Hey, pass your client ID, client secret. Then only I will allow to my internal flows. Who is going to stop that? So your policies, where it is going to apply?
API
API
manager.
manager.
In
How
API manager.
your runtime manager and your API manager is interacting?
API auto discovery.
API auto
API
discovery.
auto discovery. Okay. So if you are not putting API auto discovery, even if you are passing 1, 2, 3, 4 also, it will try to take it, guys. Okay. So your API auto discovery is a bridge between your runtime application and your API manager. Okay. They'll try to ask you what is the life cycle of your complete new API. Okay. If they are asking, you need to tell the whole story of from design center, your development, your deployment, your managing, everything you need to tell it. Okay. We'll also discuss that thing in a moment of time. So what I will try to have it something like client ID, client secret enforcement. I used it. Okay. So it is something like compliance, client ID compliance. Okay. So in real time, what we will try to do, we will try to create a client application base. Where we are going to create client applications?
Experience layer.
Experience layer we will try to create, but in which part we are trying to create client applications?
In Exchange, I guess.
Yeah, in Exchange. Okay, not guessing. So please make sure that we are trying to create client application in our Exchange. Okay, so as a developer, we need to do this thing. Okay, so whenever we are migrating to SIT or UAT, there will be some platform team that they are going to do it, but at least from developer sake, we need to create that. Okay, so anyone who doesn't know about this particular thing, what these guys are talking about client ID, client secret, I never know about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, we'll try to see each and everything. Okay, in a detailed way. So how we are trying to create it in our real-time applications, we will try to explain that. Okay, but you need to stick to that thing. Okay, whenever you're looking at something, hey, we learned this thing. Okay, don't stick to that particular class. Go and explore some other thing. Okay, and try to practice it so that at least if you are trying to create 1 or 2 APIs, it is easy for you to explain anything. Okay, if even if they are asking about your project, if you are explaining that particular API, that is fine enough. They understand, hey, this particular guy has some flavor of what is this particular API-led connectivity is all about, how we are following standards. He understand it, so they get to know. Okay, now I have client ID, client secret. I'm going to create it in my exchange. Okay, so let us try to open that thing so that at least if someone is not aware of, at least they might know about it. Okay, so let me open this. And what is this particular thing, guys? What I'm trying to open it?
Unicorn
What is this?
platform.
Anyone
Platform.
platform, right? Okay, so at least these are the basics, right? Okay, so don't ask me, hey, what is this particular this thing? Okay, so I'm trying to go to my exchange. This is my exchange. Okay, so here we have some experience APIs, we have some system APIs. What we will try to do, we will try to create an client ID, client secret. So what is this exchange where we are trying to publish it here?
APIs.
Okay, so I have these particular things, right? Where we are trying to create this. I mean, so how these things are created?
in design center, we create it and we will publish them into exchange.
Yeah, exactly. So we are trying to publish it from the design center. So design center is my source of truth for everything. Okay. So sometimes MuleSoft is something called design first approach. Why design is first? Okay, they will try to ask you. Okay, we'll try to explore that one as well. So we are creating something like request access here. Okay, so I can create a client ID, client secret for my auto discovery. Okay, so I can create a client applications here. Okay, now coming to your explanation. Okay, they will try to ask you, hey, how you enabled security? You will say, hey, I created some client applications. Okay, you know, we can create client applications for my system API also. What this is, something like client application. Client application is nothing but a combination of your client ID, client secret. So I can create my client application to my system API and experience API also. Okay, so my exchange is not going to restrict, hey, you cannot create system API client application. I can still create it. I can request it, right? So in which scenario we are going to create a client application to my system API? In which scenario we are going to create my client application to my experience API? You guys need to understand it. Okay, so this is the basic standard that we are going to follow whenever we are applying some security using my client application. So in your real time, we are not going to create client applications to my system API. Okay, so it is a blender. Why? So very specific case, this particular thing will be used. Okay, only one specific case I will try to use it. Okay, that is something like your process API where we are creating through schedulers. Only this case only we are trying to create a client application here. Okay, so this one we are trying to discuss on whenever we are applying securities. Okay, whenever we are talking about process API, we're trying to see why this particular client application will be created here. Okay, but in your most of the cases, I mean, apart from this case, we will try to create always client applications at my experience layer. Okay, so this is where I'm trying to create my client applications. How many client applications I will try to create it for this particular API in real time? Maybe real time if I'm asking. So as per your understanding capability, how many client applications we will try to create?
Two.
Two. Okay, so might be I might discuss on the other day.
Yeah.
Okay, so two client applications I will try to create. Okay, one is my internal client application. Okay, why internal? This guy is also asking, hey, experience API, try to send me client ID, client secret. Otherwise, I will not give the response. So I need to create a internal application for this thing. That is one. And I need to give one more client application, which is used by this particular OEBS system. One is external application, one is internal application. So if you are putting this way, they can understand, hey, he know how we are trying to provide the security compliance in the real time APIs. Okay. So every aspect, whatever we are trying to tell them, so it should be in a proper direction. Okay. So these concepts, why we are doing two client applications, only one client application, I can give it to system API and even this guy, right? But if I'm trying to do it, they can directly access my system API. There is no security at all. So this way we are trying to avoid that particular situation. So whatever we are trying to achieve in your APIs, we will thought through every aspect, security, every performance, every aspect, we will try to understand it. And we are trying to possess the same knowledge in your APIs. Okay. So sometimes they will not try to ask you this particular question. Okay. But some interviews, they will try to ask you, hey, how you provide your security. So they want to understand, is your architect or as a developer, have you thought through all the issues that you are going to face in your real time or not? Okay. So whenever we are learning something, our basic classes or anything, so we don't thought through everything. But whenever you're into some project or you're working for some MNC, they need to understand the security. Every aspect, they need to understand it. It is not just like, a simple mobile application or some other thing that we are trying to develop for only our purpose. So whatever the services that you are creating or APIs that you are creating, these things will be used by multiple users. Okay. So they can't, risk their application development by a lame developers, those who are not trying to understand the security concerns. Okay. So everything we need to construct in a proper way, and we need to put it in the interview in a proper direction. Okay. So any question on this particular thing, how to explain your API? You can ask me. I mean, so even if you are not able to understand it, that's completely fine. Okay. So if you are putting your word, then only I can understand, hey, how to, address this particular thing in a different aspect so I can understand.
While
Yes.
creating a client application for system API, we will give the system API name in the while creating client application, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Only one case we will try to create, Surya. Okay. So
Okay.
if I have a process API which is having a scheduler, okay. So what scheduler will do automatically, it will kick it off. Okay. In process API, I need to call a system API. Okay. But system API, what it will require? Client ID, client secret. Okay.
Yeah.
But process API doesn't have any RAML. So I can't push it into design center. I can't create it in a exchange. Okay. There is another way, but ideally we will not create it in a process API. Okay. In the exchange. So I don't have this particular request access also, right? So in that scenario only, we will try to create a client application to my system API. Okay. So
Okay.
whenever I'm creating a system API, a client application to my system API, what I will try to do is I will name it something like INT or EXT. INT in the sense it is internal. Okay.
Okay.
Whoever calling my system API from my internal projects, which means that a mule project is internally calling it, I will name that thing INT hyphen my system API with environment, because your client applications are environment specific. So whenever you are creating a client application, what you will try to choose, you will try to choose a auto discovery. Okay, which means that the client application will bind to your auto discovery. Okay, it is an environment specific thing. Okay, the
Okay.
naming conventions and everything we were going to talk it. Okay, so there will be something like many naming conventions we will follow, guys. Okay, why naming conventions? Let us say you are working on some project. Okay, you will try to work on this year. Next time you will go to some other company. Okay, if you are not following a structure or a standard, the person who is coming in, so they can't understand it, how to naming it, or which one is there, something like that. So Jira's, your Bitbucket, source versioning, everything is not about you. Okay. If you are going to some other company, what you will try to do, you will try to give a bare minimum KT. Okay. So 2-3 days, you will try to complete your KT. Even you will not tell anything. Okay. Which means that some people will try to give a proper KT, and the person who is able to understand it, they can extract it. Some people might not understand the full KT. Okay. So what they rely on this thing, they are trying to rely on your Jiras. Okay. Your project management and your Bitbucket source control, whatever the commits that you made it. So everything they are trying to follow it in that direction. So every section you will follow some standards and you will adhere to that standards. Okay. You will try to build the APIs using those standards. Okay. There is no exception. Okay. So those kind of thing we will try to see it whenever we are naming our projects, whenever we are trying to create some flows, whenever we are trying to create some XML documents, whenever we are creating properties, whenever we are creating some log categories, everything we are trying to follow some standards. Okay. If you are putting your project in this particular way, hey, we are following these particular standards, they try to understand, hey, this guy worked on some company and they are following that particular standards. Okay. So at least he is making sure that, hey, this guy has some real-time experience. Okay. So whenever, even if you are not continuing this particular session, maybe later point of that, I mean, so maybe from tomorrow onwards, you guys are not for, coming to this particular session, but my suggestion to you is, okay, whenever you're explaining any API or whenever you're explaining your project, try to explain it in API-led connectivity and properly put it as securities, proper logs, everything, try to put it that way. Okay. So your project explanation will not be complete set. You don't require to explain 10 APIs or 20 APIs until and unless he is going to ask you. But whenever they're asking you, the first question that they're going to ask you, hey, tell me about yourself or tell me about your last project. So that is the only chance that you gain your first impression. Okay. So whenever you're claiming, hey, I worked on something like 2 years or 3 years on new project, at least they need to know this particular stuff. Okay. So just make sure that you put it this way. Okay. Any other question? If no questions, I will try to move on to the API lifecycle. Okay. So generally, this is the question that we are trying to ask you most. How you implement it or where you got requirements, how you created an API. So what is your roles and responsibilities? So these kind of questions generally we will get it right. So I'm trying to explain that. If you have any other questions. Just a moment. I got some chats. Okay. Okay. Just a moment. Okay. I got too many questions. Just a moment. Integration between two systems. How do you get data from source and how do you send it to target? How do you get it? Okay. See, whenever these kind of questions you will get it, you need to explain which protocol that you are trying to use it. Okay. So their intention is which connector you are using it. Okay. Is it through FTP or is it through HTTP requester or your RESTful APIs or your SOAP APIs? Okay. So, but in real time, 98%, 90%, not 98%, almost like 90%, you will try to use the RESTful API steps. Okay. The 10% rely on your Salesforce connectors, DB connectors, your Azure, your Amazon or whatever it is. They're trying to rely on that particular 10%. Okay. Because all your external systems are modernized and they know how to expose RESTful APIs and how to call the RESTful APIs. Okay. Standards are different from company to company, so little bit of awareness is required. Yes, definitely. Okay. See, the standards they will follow is a little bit different ways. Okay. But if you know one kind of standard, okay, at least the bare minimum standards that okay, if you are putting that way, so they can understand, hey, so in their company they are following this particular standard. See, let us say some companies will follow for every method and resource, they will try to create a new XML file. Okay. In some companies, if we are talking about accounts, all the get accounts, post accounts, and everything, they will put it into one XML file. So there is very little bit, standards will different, but one should know what are the standards that we are going to follow in a generalized manner. Okay. Kitty is asking why we need environments. Okay. So put it this way. Let us say you're working on something, Kirti. Okay, you developed something, you deployed into development. So in development environment, what you will try to do, you will try to check it, okay, your application by Postman. Okay, and once you confirm, hey, this particular API is working, so I can extract some data or I'm posting something. What you will try to do, you will try to give that particular dev environment URL to external system. Hey, external system, okay, consume this particular API by configuring it inside your mobile application or whatever the application that they are trying to use. Okay, let's say Oracle EBS in this particular scenario. So they are trying to configure it over there, and they will try to call this particular thing. They will confirm, hey, Kirti, this is working. So try to move to some other environment. Why some other environment? There will be some other set of people who is going to test it, which means that your internal testing team is there. Okay, which means that whatever the company that you are working, okay, for that particular client, there will be internal testers. They are going to test it. They are going to test it in every scenario. They are not posting it from Postman. They are trying to test it through OEBS system. Okay, they will try to create some event, whether they are trying to get the account in real time or not, they will try to test it. Okay, once they said that, hey, this particular scenario is not working, you need to fix it. Or OEBS team, if they have the issue on their side, they will try to fix it. Once everything is fixed, what you will try to do, you will try to move it to some other environment, QA environment. Okay, where the actual users are there, which means that once you deployed into production, okay, let us say 1,000 users are using this particular OEBS system to get the account information. Okay, out of those 1,000 members, there will be something like 10 members will be picked up, and they will ask, I mean, the client managers will try to ask them, hey, can you test this application? So it is going to go to production. Okay, sorry. Chaitanya, go on, please. Okay, so they are going to test that particular application, which means that end of the day, their colleagues needs to use that. Okay, so they will try to test it in product your UAT environment. So that's why multiple environments are there. So if multiple people are testing it, they can understand, hey, this particular application has some bug. So multiple people are testing it, and they will try to find out so many issues in multiple levels, multiple directions. Okay, so if you are searching for one particular person in a group of people, you might not find it easily. Okay, you will take a hardly a 1 hour time or something like that. If 10 members are searching for the same person in different directions or different perspective, so you can extract that particular person very easily. So this is why you have multiple environments. For every environment, there were certain people that those are like, testing your application. Okay, so there are people in every environment, they are going to test your application. Okay, they are not going to test it using your Postman, guys. Okay, one thing, whenever I was in an interview, so I asked one person, what is your end system? Okay, he said that Postman. Okay, so the moment he is going to put that particular answer, ultimately I could not do anything, because it is very lame answer and he can't understand what is an end system. Okay, and who is going to test that particular thing? So no one is going to test it, your API, using this particular thing, your Postman. Okay, so what they will try to do, whatever the endpoint or RESTful endpoint that you are going to expose it in your experience API, they are going to configure in their external system. Okay, which means that the moment they are putting some activity, it is automatically triggered. Okay, whether it is get or post, it will be automatically triggered. Okay, so it is based on user action. Okay, why do we need okay, process API and a business logic? Okay, so process API is not only business logic. Okay, sometimes we will do orchestration. Okay, sometimes there, if it is a complicated business logic, we will try to put it in process layer, but mostly orchestration. And if anything that is triggered, not triggered by experience API like JMS or schedulers or any other mode, we will try to put it in process API. Okay, sometimes they will some of the projects, if any complicated business logic is there, they will try to put it in process API. Yeah. So Keith is saying like dev UAT. Yes. Okay. So
What is
uh,
orchestration?
orchestration. Okay. So generalized meaning. What is orchestra? Your orchestra. You know, right?
Yeah, they play, right?
Arrangement.
They play. Okay. A series of events or series of musical instruments they will try to play, right?
Yeah.
So if they are playing randomly, it doesn't any make sense. It is something like a different music altogether, right?
Yeah.
So to construct a proper music, what they will try to do, they will try to play it in a
Order.
sequential manner or a manner, right?
Yeah.
So in this way, whenever I'm saying orchestration, it means that I'm calling multiple system APIs in a proper business scenario, which means that, hey, I need to call this particular system API, one system API, which is giving some customer information. Try to get that. Okay. And that particular customer information, I need to, inject into organization. So I have organization inside that customer information. I need to call one more system API where it is expecting organization and customer information both. So this is something like a proper manner of calling your systems. Okay. A proper business logic. Okay. That is what we call it as orchestration. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Any other question, guys? No? All right. Yeah, go on, no issue.
Yeah, actually, some interviewers asking mostly how many APIs are you are developed in your MUL project.
Okay.
That type of question.
Okay, so what is your answer?
Actually, I put it to 2 years of experience. So 3 APIs I developed.
No, not at all. Why?
One API, actually 1 or 2 APIs I developed. So.
Okay, so let me put it this way, guys. Maybe it will be helpful all. Okay, so if you are working on 2 years, okay, and if you are saying that, hey, I worked on only 3 APIs, you're ultimately giving me some hint saying that I am not a real-time developer. Why?
Sir, actually, the same question was asked by one of the MNC companies. But actually, in my company, I have been working on change requests, changing the system APIs like that only. But I haven't built from the scratch for
Yeah,
any
so
system API.
you're in a support model. That is a different story. Okay.
No,
Your
not support. It's a developer role also. But
Mhm.
only change request I am doing. Change request in the request part, we are adding fields.
So what we call it as hypercare or support. I mean, so basically, whatever the existing APIs are there, you're working on some enhancements, not a complete development from the scratch, right?
Yes.
All right.
The same
Okay.
question was asked for me also. I told them that I had developed nearly 20 APIs, but the interviewer has not satisfied with my answer.
Why?
Even
What
20
he is
is
expecting.
she said that actually the girl she said that 20 is very less API, very less count. So we can't trust you that you are a genuine guy. She told like that, but I thought I'm very genuine only, but
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
let us try to give this way, guys. Okay, so we do have something like generally whenever they are giving any API. Okay, so at architect or whenever we are dealing with the clients, if they are asking, hey, try to build this particular API, so we need this particular thing. So generally, if it is a very basic API, mostly like 70% of your 70 to 80% APIs are they don't have much transformation logic, or sometimes we will directly call the data and we will try to give it to the external systems. Okay, it doesn't have too much of stuff. What we need to do is we need to follow some standards. We need to create ramels, we need to create data types, we need to update the documents, we need to follow all the standards, reviews, jiras, everything we need to follow. So whether it is a complicated API or a very basic API, we need to follow this particular process. But if someone is giving this particular requirement, a simple API, to create an experience API and system API, okay, which I'm trying to add some resource to the existing API, which means that I already have a OEBS experience API. Okay, they want to create an API which is trying to get it from some other SAP system. So I already have experience API. Okay, I don't require to create a new jar or new project. I need to create one more resource in this particular experience API. So in that particular scenario, what I will try to do, I will ideally create this particular thing. I mean, as a developer, I can create it in 2 hours, right? But I will say to the client, hey, I need to do some other stuff and I need to, create a lot many things. I'll try to give it something like 2 days to my experience API and 3 days to my system API and 1 day to my all the other stuff, documentation and other things, M units or other stuff, which means that I'm trying to have this particular API ready within a week's time, which means 5 business working days. Okay. For development, for deployment, there is another story. Okay. Whether you're processing a flow, it might take you to push it to production. That might take 2 weeks or 3 weeks of deployment period. Okay. So basically, they will try to deploy every Friday or Wednesday, something like that. Every project will have a specific requirement. So, which means that within a week's time period, I'm trying to develop a complete API. And you are working on 2 years. If you are saying that three APIs that I have worked on, so tell me how it looks to the interviewer, right? You're getting my point. See, whenever you're working on some specific project, at least if you are working something, okay, so put it at least like 13 or even 10 APS is fine. Okay. But some person is saying that, hey, I've worked on 20 APS and she's not saying that, hey, you are not a proper guy. So maybe she might coming up some from a different aspect altogether. But ideally, as a developer, if I'm working on a particular development project, okay, which I'm getting the requirements each sprint, obviously I will try to work on like uh, 8 to 10 APs, definitely in a year period. Okay, if we are getting enhancements daily, this particular number of APS might be reduced, but you need to give the justification. Okay, but Himija, for to answer your question, if you are working on a 2 years of a development project, and if you are getting a new APS requirement each sprint, definitely you need to work on something like 13 to 14 APS. That is the
Yeah.
ideal expectation that I'm going to. Okay, don't put it like 3 to 4 APS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So it is not like, so whenever I'm saying that if you are claiming 13 to 14 APIs or 20 APIs, no one is going to ask you all the 20 APIs, you need to explain it. Okay. What they are trying to ask you is try to explain 1 or 2 APIs. Okay. Ideally, you need to explain this way. I have this particular experience API. I have this particular system API. This kind of transformation I have used. Okay. This kind of security profile I have used. Okay. I have used this particular deployment through CI/CD. I used Jira, I used Bitbucket. So if you are explaining this way, it is more constructive that he is not going to ask you those 20 APIs. No one is going to ask you that. And no one has that much time that, listen to all your 20 implementations.
Sorry to interrupt. She
Mhm.
has expected more than 50 APS. She told me like that. Then I thought, then
Okay, so,
I simply laughed
okay.
and
Mhm.
we
Okay,
laughed.
so as a I do have something like 6 years of experience. So what you guys can expect, like how many APS that I have worked on in this 6 years span?
90 APIs. 90 APIs.
Maybe. I mean, so
Might
no
be
one is going
100.
to no one
Count
is
the
going
number.
to count that, but ideally, see, I have seen something like at least as per my knowledge, something like something like 80 to 90. That's it. Okay. Which means that I do have something like this kind of experience. So if someone is expecting within 2 years, 100 of APS, I don't know how realistic it is. Okay. So,
Kishore,
uh,
sorry to interrupt, but can
mm,
we shadow this question by taking them into the project and discussing it over rather than giving them a standard count. Like we can explain them that the flow required the endpoints to be accessed in a particular set, and we can
Uh,
explain them the mapping and
what
like
you need
just
to explain is the project plan, guys. Okay. So whenever you're getting your requirements, so first of all, it needs to be signed off, okay, by your functional guys, your client, your architectural team is there. Okay. They will try to sign it off and they will try to give it to you. Okay. So to give you that particular requirement, there is too much of brainstorming will be there. Okay. So let us say if I'm starting a project on Jan, so my complete requirements will complete like 2 months or 3 months. Okay. Then I will try to come up with some APIs. Okay. Then only I will try to give it to my development team. Once they developed it, let us say in a week's time, they develop something. Okay. So I do have a four or 5 members team. They develop something. Once they are trying to deploy it back to my development environment, there are too many time gap, guys. Okay. It is not like, today I developed something, I deployed it immediately. No, it will not work that way. So there is a specific timelines that we are trying to follow. So if I'm deploying into dev, I'll try to make sure that at least 3 days I will try to do some IoT. Then only I will try to go for SIT, then QA, then production, something like that. There will be a definite schedules will be there. Okay. So in a 2 months period, hardly I will try to, as a developer, hardly I will try to push it max to two APIs to my production environment. Okay. If it is not an aggressive project, I'm taking it in a generalized manner. Okay. So even whatever the developers, if you know some developers who are working in MuleSoft projects, try to interact with them so that you will get this particular essence of it. So how much time that they are trying to work. See, even I will claim, hey, I'm working on 9 hours in my project, but what is the real thing? So if I'm a MuleSoft developer, I will hardly work on 2 hours or 1 hour. Sometimes, some days I will not work on anything. Okay. So this is your reality. Okay. Why most of the people are coming from different technologies to Mule, only this particular, a comfort zone. Okay. So if you are asking me, see, if you know this particular thing, so how to develop your MuleSoft applications, is it hard for us to develop the applications? No, it will not. Okay. So we are just trying to drag and drop and configuring the stuff, right? So it doesn't take too much of time. Okay. But the process we are trying to follow will take some time. So who are already working on some other technology, they might, right, Ashish? So try to explain the project uh, plan or deployment plan so that they can understand.
thanks.
All right. Yeah. Any other question?
Can you explain about environments like dev environment, QA environment, how we switch between during the project?
I believe you can have it right. So switching. Okay. So basically, switching in the sense whenever you're promoting your code, okay, you will try to switch your environments in your CI/CD pipeline. So whenever you're triggering your dev pipeline, so it will be deployed into your dev. Okay. So CI/CD pipelines, I will try to create it for every project, for every environment. Okay. So that is your deployment plan. Coming to my runtime manager, I can switch my environment here. So you will have multiple environments here. Okay. So this thing will be created by your platform team. Okay. So I can switch to any environment and I can go to my application. But in your exchange, in your where you don't have anything environment specific, you don't have environment specific in your design center and exchange. That's why these things are there, the top level. But all these
No,
access
like
cafe, yeah.
like how we follow that like steps, like dev, when we follow dev, when we follow QA, like just a simple way. Can you explain that? Like,
Okay. So let us say I got some requirement. Okay. So I got an architectural document and data mapping sheet. So based upon that, what I will try to do, I'll go with the design center and I will create some ramen. Okay. If it is an existing API, so I'll go with adding it. So if it is a new jar, a new system API, I will try to create an asset and I will try to write down some RAM. The moment I write down it, so I will try to push it back to Exchange. So I will download that particular YAML and I will try to create in any point stream. Once my development is completed, implementation is completed, system API experience, what I will try to do, I'll try to deploy into development environment. Okay. So this is my first deployment in my development. Before that, what I will try to do, I'll try to test it in local. Both my system API and experience API, I will try to test it in my local in the sense that is dedicated to my client specific laptop or remote desktop. Okay. I'll try to deploy it into dev through manual deployment, or if I already written CI/CD, so I'll try to use that particular CI/CD to deploy into my development environment. Okay. Once I deployed it to my development, I will test it. I'll call my experience API, which is going to ultimately call my development system API. Okay. So this particular system API, what it will try to do, it will try to interact with my external system or end system to extract some data or post some data, their development environment. Okay. So this is my development setup. Once everything is tested, which means that my API is working in success scenarios and error scenarios also. Let us say in error scenarios, let us say it is trying to send some emails or something. This particular configuration is working. So what I will try to do, I will try to inform my external systems saying that, hey, I'm moving this particular applications to my next environment. What is my next environment? SIT or QA, let us say, if you don't have SIT. So I'll try to deploy into my SIT environment. Okay. So once I deployed my changes into SIT environment, I will inform to my stakeholders, which means my target system and source system also. I'll try to inform, hey, I deployed my changes to SIT environment. Make sure that you also deployed your changes into SIT environment. Guys, can you go on mute, please? Just a moment. Sorry. Okay. So once my SIT is completed, which means that once I moved my changes to SIT, my internal testing team is going to test it. Hey, this particular thing is working or not. Okay. Once that particular process is also completed, then I will go for QA environment. If some issues are found in that particular SIT environment, what I will try to do, I'll try to fix them inside my local. Again, I will try to deploy into my latest version into development environment. I tested it properly, and then I will try to move it to SIT again. And again, I will ask them, hey, I fixed this particular issue, try to test it. So that way we need to move it to further environment. Okay. So once everything, even SIT QA is completed, I will try to move it to production environment. Right, Charan?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So it is just like, for every environment, you're testing, your application completely. Okay. Not even from your API perspective. So from your source system, target system, they will try to test it. Okay. They will not interact with your API directly. They will try to interact with your, source system. They will try to create some event. Okay. They will try to create some user. That particular user, you want to push it to some external system. They will try to create user using their UI, your source system UI. Okay. The moment you are clicking on submit, what they will try to do behind the scene, they will try to call your experience API to create that particular user into end system. So that is how your construction will work. Okay. They are not going to use Postman to call your APIs. No, they will not. Okay. They will try to test it through your source system. All right.
I have a small doubt.
Mhm.
Like if we are specifying like for input request fields, we are specifying the data types. If we have imported the Tramal in Anypoint Studio. If in further case, the data type has been changed, do we
Mhm.
have to like how can we do the change? Because whenever we are passing the request, the Tramal will be validated, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Who is going to validate it? This is one
Uh,
question.
API kit router.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks. You have a better understanding. Yeah, the question is also very good question, guys. Okay, So let us say I created some API in my design center. I developed my designs. I mean, I just downloaded it in my Anypoint Studio, and I created an API, a system API or experience API. Nothing matters. Okay. I modified some data type in my design center. Let us say my data mapping sheet will have some mistake, and my architect is saying, hey, this is not a string, it is a number, and it has some properties. So what I will try to do, I will obviously modify this particular thing. The data mapping sheet is changed. Okay. I'll try to modify my design center. Okay. So how to get that particular design center changes inside your Anypoint Studio? What are the ways? I mean, so uh, whoever is asking, she might not know this, or she's trying to understand what is the standard way of doing it. But anyone tell me, so what are the ways that I can, update my or synchronize my data design center changes to my Anypoint Studio? Is there any way?
Yeah, if we import the RAML as a dependency, like while creating flows in the Anypoint Studio, there are 2-3 options, right? We can download the RAML and we can create
So
the
that
flow.
is project creation. My project creation is already done.
Okay. Yeah. If you go to manage dependencies, there is
Okay.
option called manage
Mm.
dependencies, and
Mm.
there we can go to API, and there we can see the updated version of API
Okay, so if it is a dependency
published
injection,
into,
that
yeah.
you will do. Okay, but in real-time projects, I mean, not in. Okay, sorry guys. In generalized manner, how many ways that you have? Okay, this is one way. Okay,
Can we
do you
use patch
guys?
method?
Sorry.
Patch method.
No, so we are talking about okay, so you created some RAML. Okay, I'm adding some changes. Okay, in the design center, I want to synchronize, or I want to get those changes to my Anypoint Studio, because Anypoint Studio project is already created with the old RAML. Okay, so I'm making some changes in the RAML, so I want to get those changes back to my Anypoint Studio. This is my question. Generally, we always get these kind of things in your projects. Okay, we'll start with some RAML, so we design something. Okay, once the design is completed, so I will inform my architect, hey, my RAML design is completed. So he said that, hey, go ahead with that. Okay, I download that particular project inside my Anypoint Studio. I scaffold everything. So I created some temporary flows. Then again, my architect is coming, hey, this particular data type is wrong, or some other thing is they changed it. So I made those changes in design center. Now I want to get those changes back to my Anypoint Studio. This is what she was trying to ask. Okay, so there are two ways of it. Okay, I mean, so obviously there are three ways. One thing is dependency injection, that we keep it aside, but
Can we change?
I can manually update it, right?
Yeah,
That
in
is one
the
option. Whatever the changes that I made it, I can manually update it. Okay. The second thing is, I'm right clicking on my project, and there is something like Anypoint platform where I can have download latest updates from RAML. There is one option. You guys, you might know this. Okay, that is one way of doing it. But when I'm going with this particular option, when I'm going with manual doing, okay, so if your client will have some specific security profiles, okay, which it is you are using to connect with your Anypoint platform, then you are going with manual process. Okay, but if you can configure your client's Anypoint platform inside your Anypoint Studio, you can go with your synchronization. Okay, so let me open that so I can explain in a better way. Okay, see, for anything there are multiple ways, guys. Okay, for even connected levels also, someone is asking why you are using that particular term. So if we know all the options and what are the pros and what are the disadvantages, so we know which option we are trying to use for that particular specific case. Okay, so this is my system API. Okay, I believe my screen is visible to you, right?
Yeah.
What is this?
Download ramel from design center.
Hmm. If you are already, map your design center, okay, if you already configure your credentials, your client credentials, you can directly click on this particular option. Whatever the updates that you made it inside your design center, you can get it from design center. Okay, so it is a design first approach, guys. Okay, you are making the changes inside your studio and you are trying to update in your design center. It is wrong way of doing. Okay, none of your architects or team leads are going to encourage you to do that way. So first of all, we will try to make the changes in design center. Then only we will try to download it inside your studio. Okay. So this is the one option. The other option is we are trying to make the changes. What are the changes
Sorry
that we
to
made it?
interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. I have a doubt. Like if we are half of the development is done, like we have done the transformations, we have done the connections. Now, if we are downloading the RAML from the design center, will it be like a new flow or it will come with the existing one?
So this is where we have some understanding gap. Okay. So this is scaffolding. All right. So who is asking this question?
My name is Zulfia.
Okay, Julfia. Okay. So we are going to create this particular thing. All right, Julfia. So this is something like scaffolding. These are the private flows. Whenever we are going with my RAML and clicking on that particular option, design flows from RAML. Okay. So this is the option that I'm going to click it. Or else, when you are creating new project, okay, if you are selecting this particular option, scaffolding flows, you will get this particular private flows with a transformation message, right?
Okay.
So the actual implementation in any project, we will not do it right away here. Okay. What you will try to do is you will try to create a separate XML files. Okay. So even if you are changing anything inside your RAM, so what ideally you would change it, you will try to change the example. You will try to change the data type, something like that. Okay. So even if you are changing it over there, so it doesn't impact anything, whatever you implemented already. Okay. Your implementation will be there inside your dedicated XML files like this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it will not impact anything. Don't worry about it.
I got it.
All right. If no questions, I'll try to move on to the next thing. Then. Okay. So mostly they will try to ask you how you got your requirements and how you developed your APIs in your project. Okay. Should I go with it or do you need any more questions? All right. So whenever they are asking, hey, how you are developing your APIs? Okay.
I have
So,
another question. Can I ask?
Yeah.
I got a question in interview like when an error has occurred, how do you come to know the error has occurred in that particular layer, whether it is process layer or experience layer or API layer? Is it we were looking just at logs or something else?
Yeah. So let me open my exception handling. Just a moment. So generally, you will try to call your system APIs from your experience layer, right, Julfi?
Yeah.
Okay. So in my experience layer, I have some configurations that I can make. Okay. So this is my requester, which is calling my system API, right? So here I have something like error mapping. So what is here?
This is like app system.
So
This is
whatever the error we are getting it from the system layer, it will be converted into app colon system. Okay. So if my error is created inside my experience API, my error will have some other thing. Okay. this is one way of expecting my, whether it is created in system layer or experience layer. Okay. And one more thing is, in every layer, we are trying to do our exception handling. Okay. So this is where I'm trying to do my exception handling. Okay. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create my, this is my, you guys are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is my construction of payload. Okay. So here I can add one more thing called layer. Okay. So here I will try to say system something. You got it?
Okay.
Okay. And apart from this, we'll try to do one more thing. That is something like transaction, your log transaction management. Okay. So I did it somewhere else. Yeah, this is one. What I have, transaction ID, right? Okay. So this particular transaction ID, where I will try to send it is from my experience API. I will try to send it. Okay. So where we are trying to send it might be in different experience API we have implemented, but from this, what I will try to do is I will try to send a correlation in. Okay. And that thing, I will try to track it everywhere. So I get to know whether my error is appeared in system layer or experience layer. So there are multiple ways of doing it. Okay. All these things we will try to see it in next preceding classes. Okay. So these are the basic understanding. I mean, so even if you are opting to this class or not, so at least you guys are attending this particular class. I just want to, appreciate your effort. Okay. So that's why even if you are not sticking to the classes, at least I want to give you something so that you can achieve your best in your interviews. Okay. So that's why I could not explain the whole concept, but at least to give you some perception, we can have multiple ways of dealing with it. But the ideal way of dealing with it is maintaining the same transaction ID in every layer, and I can go through that particular transaction ID and I can see it in my system layer. Okay, this is one approach. And the second approach is I can set my payload field where this particular error is going to happen. The third way is I can have my error mapping. Okay, in my experience layers.
Okay.
Clear?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So generally they will try to ask you, hey, how you are getting your requirement? So what is your answer?
In
How
design
you will,
document.
okay, you will get design documents. Okay, what else?
FDD document will be shared by team leaders or architects.
Functional design document. Okay,
I
what
get
else?
it, Jira or
Yeah, okay, Jira. See, whenever they are saying that, hey, who is going to give the requirements, you will try to tell it like, my team lead or my project manager is going to assign me a Jira. But inside that particular Jira, or apart from that particular Jira, what they're trying to provide you is a design documents. Okay. A functional design document they are trying to provide, or an architectural document. Along with that particular architectural document, what they will try to provide you is a data mapping sheet. Yes. Okay. So all these documents will tell you what you need to develop it. You need to develop your system API, or you need to develop your experience API, what kind of fields that you need to create it, or what kind of transformation that you need to do it. All this information you will get it through your design documents and your architectural documents and your data mapping sheets. Okay. And how to track your development? You will track your development through Jira. You will try to make that particular development status through Jira. So let me open some Jira.
sorry to interrupt. Is the mentioned we have to develop the system API or experience API, or with our this we have to develop it?
Okay, so generally they will try to give it this way. Okay, so they will name what is the system API, what is the experience API, and what is the endpoints that you need to mention it, what is the method, what is the transformation, what is the type that it is expecting. They will try to give it this way. A proper architect is going to give it this way, guys. Okay.
Thank you.
So some projects will have a different understanding, which means that they will try to give a different structure. Okay. It depends upon your architect. But ideally, they will try to give you what is the experience API name, what is the resource that you need to expose, what is the method that you need to expose. Okay. And what they will try to expose you is the data mapping sheet also. What kind of data mappings that you will get it. What is the kind of thing that you need to make it. Okay. So let me open one more thing. So I believe. So this is how I'm going to explain, guys. Okay. Um, I can't put it everything in the same session, but this is how we are going to explain the APIs. Okay, so I put it something like a 6 different APIs. I will try to explain in one particular project. The other 3 APIs you need to work on it, and in a different project I will try to explain. 2 more APIs. Okay, you need to work on 2 more other APIs. Okay, so this is how I constructed this particular course. Okay, so rather than calling it as a course, it is more or like, I'm just interacting with my fellow teammates, or who is going to come into my projects or something like that. Okay, so ideally, one of the fellow who trained, so I just gave training, so that guy came all the way in different companies and come to my particular project. Okay, so that's why I was saying, so it is not kind of a classes or courses. More or less it is just like interacting with fellow mules of developers who are struggling to understand the real-time scenarios. Okay, so I was just trying to give you some idea how your real-time projects will be and how we are going to develop it, so that you extract some essence of it and you need to put it in your interviews, not in interviews. So my intention is not only your interviews, you need to survive in your companies. That is my particular model. Okay, so we are trying to get it something like this. Okay, so we
Sir,
will have, yeah. So
these all sessions are free or is it paid one, sir?
okay,
All
so
these.
maybe from tomorrow onwards.
Let me answer to this question. Guys, like why we are going to provide free session? That you have to think first. See, no one is going to free nowadays, okay? So whatever we are providing, everything will be paid classes. Okay.
Okay, see, one thing, guys. See, even for some sessions, let's say like 1 or 2 sessions, what we were trying to do is we are trying to give you some idea about how your real-time projects will. Okay, if I want to dedicate my time 2 to 3 hours every day for next 30 days or somewhat, so it should not be something like that. Okay, so what we are trying to explain you at this level, you guys have not paid anything. Okay, so even what we were trying to do is we want to give some rough idea about how these particular things are there in your real life. So at least if you have some idea, so at least you can, some people might crack something, or interviews perspective, they can crack. Okay, but my intention is not completely for the interviews, but sustaining inside your projects. Okay, if you guys are really interested, stick to the classes, so that you know how we are trying to deal with inside your projects. Okay, so that it is going to help you in your long-term career. Okay, it is not just like cracking interviews. Okay, fine. So this is how later point of time, interact with the admin, okay, Kishore, and try to get those things sorted out. Okay, so these kind of data mapping sheet that they are going to provide, and we are going to explain it this. Okay, and what else they are trying to give you. Okay, this is the data mapping sheet I will get. Architectural document I will get it. So what functional document will have? So any idea, anyone? So why we need functional document? FDD, functional design document.
In the document only that fields will be present.
No,
That
fields
missing
will
field.
present here. Okay, in general, data mapping sheet will have all the fields. Data functional design document also will tell some fields, but not the exact use of functional design document. See, the functional design document will tell you why client needs this particular API. What is the advantage, or what is the use case that they need this particular API? If they don't need this particular API, what is the impact of the business? Okay, how many requests that we are going to get it? So that is what we call it as the functional design document. So why business needs this? What is the use case of this? Okay, which parties are involved? Okay, which are the stakeholders? All these things. A flow diagram, which means that a basic flow where we are, what is it is having it. Okay, where we are pushing it. So the basic functional flow will have this particular knowledge. Okay, so that is what we captured in functional design document. And there will be some non-functional requirement, which means that how many requests that we will get it for this particular API. Okay, what are the types of where this particular servers are held at. So these are what we call it as non-functional requirements, NFRs. Okay, so these details will capture it inside your functional design documents. Okay, so once we got this particular thing, where you will start it as a MuleSoft developer, where you will start your development.
Platform.
Design
YAML, designing YAML.
Yeah, designing grammar. Okay, see, whenever I'm saying MuleSoft, okay, MuleSoft is nothing but it is a design first approach, guys. Why design first approach? What is the use of design first approach? We
If
can
we-
directly go for Anypoint Studio also, right? Why we are going for design first?
To get the feedback from the clients. If we have if without designing ramels, if we directly go to the Anypoint Studio, if the further the requirement has changed, then entire development what we have did goes waste. So instead of that, we are designing and we are explaining to the client, this is how we are going to receive the
After
request.
designing
How
the API, we'll do
And-
mocking the API.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
We'll do the mocking, then we'll get the approval from the client, then we'll go for the development and deployment.
Okay, cool. So most of the guys will have a very better understanding why we are doing this particular. So I'm happy for that. Okay. To be very precise, if I'm a developer, okay, my client already gave me, so these are the fields. I mean, so the client is, if I'm saying client, he is not virtual. He is also one of the human who is working in some other organization. We are working for them. That's it. Okay. So they are going to define, these are the fields that they require in that particular target system to process it. Okay. For further enhancement. Okay. So I already got this particular design, this data mapping sheet. From this, what I will try to do, I'll try to create some data types. Okay. From my architectural document, I will specify my resource, what is the method. Okay. And system name. My system API name also I will try to specify. The moment I specify this particular thing inside my design center, which means that I'm trying to create this particular design center, my source of truth is these things: data mapping sheet, architectural document, functional design document, and everything. This is my source of truth. And I'm trying to create a design, and I will try to give it to my architect or whoever stakeholders are interested in. I will try to share with them, hey, this is the data types I'm created. So these are my source of truth is this one. So they are trying to validate that thing, and they are trying to give you a go ahead. Okay. Sometimes we will not go with that particular approach, and we will try to develop it. I mean, so it depends upon project to project. But if I design first, I get to know what are the even they get to know what are the issues that relies on this particular design, or is there any field that they need to include it. So they get to know. Okay. And they are going to update that particular design documents if required. Okay. So this is how I'm going to design it. And there is one more aspect for this particular design first approach, which means that multiple teams can parallelly develop that. Why? Okay. So I have my system API. Okay. So I define what is the request I need, what is the response I'm going to get it. Even if it is error, so I'll define. So this is the fields that you will get it. So if I design my system API first, who is going to beneficial? My experience API is going to beneficial. Okay. Who is going to implement experience API? He is going to understand, hey, I need to call this particular system API. I need to pass this particular request. Okay, I'll get this particular response only, this particular format. So what he can do, he can also design his first, design center. If experience API is going to design it, okay, he designed his experience API, he is going to give it to external system. Okay, so let us say my mobile system is my external system in this scenario. My source is mobile. Okay, the moment I gave it to him, hey, this is the request, this is the response that you will get it. Okay, could not wait for me to completely develop my Anypoint Studio, which means that he can develop his mobile application, okay, whatever the UI application based upon my design. Okay, because he know what is the request I'm going to expect, what is the response I'm going to expect. Okay, what is the credentials, at least like client ID, client secret, I'm expecting in the header, so he can configure that. Okay, so this is why we are starting with design first. Okay, they will try to ask you, hey, why you are starting with YAML first? This is the fundamental thing. Okay, so based upon my design, okay, my system API design, my experience API guy can start it. Okay, so for designing, I will take 2 to 3 hours. But for implementing inside my Anypoint Studio and deploying into development environment, I will take 1 week of time. Okay, so in this particular 1 week, if I'm not designing my API, my experience API needs to wait for my design, or so this particular deployment. Okay, so 1 week of time of my experience API person is wasting. Okay, so if I created this particular design center, so based on my design center, my experience API can start with their work. Okay, once my experience API completed his design for the experience API, he can give it to who? The external system. Okay, even he can parallelly develop it. Okay, so your design first approach will enable us to parallelly implement multiple. Okay, so it is going to provide me an enablement for the external system to parallelly implement. Okay, this is the main motto of your design of first approach. Okay, not only foreseeing what are the changes by your clients or anything, but your external systems can parallelly develop their development. Okay, ultimately you are creating some experience API. Who is going to call it? Your external system, right? So if they want to call your external system, they need to know what is the request, what is the response that they are going to get it. Then only they can map your RESTful API fields to the UI elements, right? So they need to map it. So that's why they are going with this particular approach. Okay, clear? Any question?
Sir, I have a question related to Anypoint Studio. I can commit the code using Anypoint Studio, but for reverting the commit, I couldn't find any option to
Git
Anypoint
revert,
Studio.
you can have it, or Git reset, you can have it. Git rebase, you have it. Multiple ways of. Okay,
I mean,
you can use Git cherry pick also.
is it possible through Anypoint Studio or through command prompt only?
No, so you're dealing with Git, which means that you
Right.
need to interact with Git. That's it. No other thing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, you can have it plugin or anything, but you need to interact with Git. Okay, Git reset, you can have it. Git reset had $1.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you
Okay.
have hard reset and soft reset also. There are multiple options. Okay, try to search for Git reset hard head, or let me ping you here. Okay, so any question related to this particular thing, guys? Okay, so I'm very precise to this particular. Why we are going with the design first approach? Is there any confusion, or do you need any more additional information?
Yeah, I have a question. After designing in design center in any point platform, then we'll go to the studio. There will deploy and development. Okay, and what is the exact need of data view? Everything we are doing designing in any platform designer center only.
Okay.
Again, we are moving to data view. What is the exact need
Okay.
or difference?
Okay. So data types is something like you are expecting, hey, I want this particular. Okay. So let us try to understand this. Where we have, yeah. This particular field I'm talking about. So whoever, so who asked this question?
Yeah, I'm Mahija.
Mahisa. Okay. So Mahisa, so in this particular thing, I'm getting some requests from SFDC, Salesforce system, active contracts. Okay. And they are trying to pass it only one character, which means that they are passing YRN. Okay. I'm trying to pass it to Oracle Service Cloud, this particular target system. Okay. But what they are expecting, either true or false. Okay. So what you will try to do in this particular scenario? If I don't use data view, where you are going to convert this thing? Okay. My external system, my SFDC system is passing Y or N. Okay. But if I pass Y or N, this particular system doesn't know anything. Okay. So it only understand either true or false. Okay. So where you are going to convert this thing?
In data
In
view.
transform, we will convert that.
Yeah. So that is why you need data. Okay. Your defining
Okay.
data types is how you are getting your data. Okay. But whatever the data, the external system is passing it, your other system, your target system may not understand it. You need to transform it. Okay. Sometimes it might understand it. Sometimes you need to make sure that you need to have a proper transformation. That's why you use data. Okay. Clear?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So even here, maybe not here. Okay. So even I do have multiple, scenarios that I try to create it. Okay. So to cover most of the scenarios. Okay. Why we are using this particular. Yeah. So at least you guys are able to understand why we have this particular thing. So at least I'm pretty much happy, sir, that most of you guys have mostly like not in a basic sense. You have a good understanding of what is a mu. Okay. I'm pretty much happy with that. All right. So your design first approach, clear? So I designed some ramble. So later point of time, what we will try to do? You will try to directly download it and create something inside your Anyone Studio.
No, we publish to Exchange.
Okay, we will publish to Exchange, right? Okay.
Test with Postman or Day2.
We will take the connections in Postman.
And then we moved to studio and there we started development.
Okay, so I'll try to tell you this way. Okay, so whenever I'm telling about the API story, so I will start with where we are getting the requirements. Okay, we got the requirement in Jira and these supporting documents that I will get it from the architectural data mapping sheet and everything. So based upon this, I designed my system API. Okay, so once that is done, so I will try to publish it to Exchange. Okay, so once the publishment is done, okay, so if it is a new API, I'll try to create a new API manager policy inside my API manager. Okay, this is the one that I will try to do it. Okay, and then I'll try to update some policies. Okay, or I will try to create some policies. Okay, and so this particular policy creation or API manager, we can do it later point of time also. But what I need is my API instance ID. I need it for the auto discovery. That's why I will try to publish it and I will try to create a API manager profile at least. Okay. Even policies I will try to apply it later point of time. But ideally in your real-time projects, automated policies will be there. The moment you are creating API manager, all the basic policies will be automatically applied. So I'll take that particular instance ID. Okay. Coming to my Anyone Studio, what I will try to do is before starting my particular project, what I need to do is I'll try to create a new branch in my Bitbucket. Okay. On what basis I will try to do? I will try to do it based on my Jira ID. Okay. So I will create a new feature branch in my Bitbucket using my Jira ID. Okay. This is how I start my development, not like, downloading directly or directly going to my Anypoint Studio. Okay. So once this particular branch is created, so I will try to clone my repository. Okay. Why? Because you are maintaining your code inside your Bitbucket or your Git. Through Git, you are trying to maintain your code. Okay. So in your project, you are trying to download all the stuff and you're building it. Ideally, you need to share this particular code to some other fellow, which means that your team member, right? So for that, you are trying to use your Git. Okay. So once I make that particular branch created in my Bitbucket, so I will try to get that thing. Okay. And I will start developing my implementation. Okay. Once this is my implementation, my scaffolding, okay, whatever the thing I'm trying to implement it, once that is done, what I will try to do, I'll try to create some global.xml where I have all my configuration will be there. Okay. So these are the development aspect guys. Okay. So I'll not touch that thing. So there are too many things in my development aspects. I need to concern about mostly on my development aspects also. Okay. So you need to learn more about your development, how we are going to develop in your project perspective. But life cycle perspective, so this is what you need to put. Once I created my development, I will try to add my API auto discovery ID and I will try to push my code changes to my Bitbucket. Once this is done, what I will try to do, I'll try to go to my CI/CD pipeline. So I will try to create a CI/CD pipeline for my development environment, and I will try to deploy this thing to my Anypoint Cloud Hub environment. Once this particular deployment is done, there are some configuration that you need to do. Okay, something like Anypoint platform client ID client secret for your auto discovery binding. Okay, once that is done, what you will try to do, you will try to apply some policies in the API manager. Once all this particular process is done, you develop your system API and deploy it into your development environment. In parallel, your experience API is also developed by some other person. Okay. Even your experience API also you are developing it. You are following the same approach to deploy your experience API also. Okay. Once everything is done, what you need to do, you need to update your Jira to make it is development ready. Okay. So all this particular process, you need to explain it to them. Okay. Once this particular experience API system API is developed or deployed, what you will try to do, you will try to create a security profile, which means that you will create client applications, internal client application and external client application. Okay. Once you created the external application, what you will try to do, you will test it through Postman. And once this is successful, you will try to give the RESTful endpoint as well as your client ID client secret to your external system, which is your source system. You will try to pass it. So in this scenario, I will try to pass it to my Salesforce system. Okay. They will try to configure and they will try to call your system. Okay. So this way you need to construct your life cycle. So what are the tools that you have used? I have used Jira. I have used my CI/CD pipelines. Okay. Whether you use Azure DevOps or Jenkins, doesn't matter. You need to use your Bitbucket. Okay. You need to understand how Design Center works. You need to explain API manager. You need to explain runtime manager, how this particular binding is happening, auto discovery. Okay. Once this is done, you need to tell them, hey, I'm going to manage my life cycle of my development through Jira. Okay. All these particular steps you need to explain. Okay. So whenever you are going to introduce, try to explain in a more constructive, not like, bits and pieces here and there, don't explain. So if you are putting in a constructive way, they can ask you the questions in the same direction. Okay. So whatever the way that you are passing it, the same way they are into in that particular path. If you are putting your points in here and there, they will try to confuse you or they will try to cross check your thing. There are too many cross questions they are trying to ask. Okay. So I'm stopping the session now, but what you need to do is you need to understand the life cycle of your API and you need to understand API-led connectivity. You need to understand what are the standards that we are trying to follow inside your projects and what are the tools that we are following it and what are the documents that we need to create. Once all this particular thing is done, we will go with the documents. Okay, we have API specification documents, we have technical design documents. Okay, we need to create those documents and we will try to upload it in some SharePoint locations. Okay, all these things, see, whatever the things that we are trying to explain it here. Okay, for every session, we will try to practice something. We will try to create some APIs based upon that. Okay, so we will have something like 2 projects we are trying to look at. Okay, so at least some 6 APIs or 7 APIs I will try to explain. Okay, and the other APIs you need to work on those things. Okay, that is what I'm expecting from this particular sessions. Okay, so maybe from tomorrow onwards I will start with some of the basic requirements. Okay, not basic requirements, I'll try to give you some use cases, or I will try to create some use cases so that once 1 or 2 days you are comfortable. Hey, so these are the bare minimum things that I have. So I will start with my projects. Okay, so this is something like I will try to completely develop the projects and I will try to show how we are going to develop it. And we are trying to record the sessions. Okay, so I'm done with my end. Okay, so it is not just like 1 or 2 APIs we are not developing, or very basic stuff we are not telling it. So it is something like end to end, like in a particular project, what are the standards that we are following and what is the process that we are following. So it will be helpful for your real-time process, not only like cracking your interview, rather than it is just like sustaining inside your projects. Okay, once you are able to crack your interviews. All right, any question, guys?
You are comfortable in teaching in Telugu whenever we want, right?
Yeah, so I'm I'm a Telugu guy. Okay, I can teach you in Telugu. I mean, so if all the people are understand Telugu, so I'm fine with teaching in Telugu also. Okay, but uh, some people are from different states. I could not spoil them. I mean, so the moment they are joining this particular session, so at least I thought something I need to give it to them. Okay, so that's why I'm sticking to my English. Okay, if you guys are fine with it, I can then I can teach you in Telugu also.
Are we sticking to the same timing from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. every day?
So this thing we are somewhat spectacle. I mean, so generally, what I will try to do. See, the moment this particular 2 to 4, okay. So we don't have any status calls, or say generally status calls will start it at 5 or something. Okay, so if someone is working on some company, they ideally start working on those status calls at 5. Okay, if you guys are some people are saying that, hey, morning sessions are comfortable. Okay, so we can stick to that, but the morning sessions what we are thought through is August. Okay, so at least for this particular project, 2 to 4 is what we are looking. Okay, now 2 to 4, actually we are looking at 2 to 5 actually. Okay, I mean, so 4 to 5, there are some basic sessions, or some of the concepts that okay, I feel okay, you guys are low in some basic stuff. Okay, so someone is going to teach you on that particular stuff. Okay, so ideally 2 to 4 I'm going to teach it.
So we will be having one more session in August, is it?
Yeah, so it is something like if you guys are very low at some specific concept which is basic. Okay, which I'm trying to focus more on project scenario. Okay, if you don't know the basic stuff, it is hard for me to explain something. Okay, so even I can explain it, but eventually we will take more precious time to explain the basic stuff. Okay, so if you guys are not comfortable with very specific topic, hey, we don't know this particular topic very much or something like that, so that particular 4 to 5 one more person is going to engage. Okay, Kishore is going to engage. Any other question, guys? whether it is your projects or your interviews, you are feel free to ask. Okay, no restriction or anything. Okay, even if you are comfortable in talking in Telugu, that's completely fine. Okay. మీరు ఏదైనా క్వశ్చన్ అడిగితేనే నాకు అర్థమవుతుంది. ఓకే. సో మీరు క్వశ్చన్స్ అడిగితేనే నేను కొంచెం ఇంకా బెటర్‌గా పుట్ డౌన్ చేయడానికి నాకు ఇది ఉంటుంది.
The classes are from Monday to Saturday, right?
Generally Monday to Friday I will try to take you in. Okay. So Saturdays generally I do have interviews that I mean, so generally I was a tech panel that I need to take in. Okay. And sometimes I need to attend some interviews. Okay. So if it is like, you know, if I'm free at that particular Saturday, so I will take you in. So it's not like, you know, every Saturday that we have a definite class, but if I have some comfortable time and Saturday, so I will definitely take you.
It would be better if we can ask doubts on Saturday so that whatever use cases you will be giving us, we'll be practicing on it, right? If we have any queries, we can ask it on Saturday. So,
I'll tell you one thing. So if you have any question, stop me over there and ask them. Your question, get clarified, everything. Okay. So one dedicated session to doubts is at least not my approach, but once we completed this particular sessions, I will have a headroom of like, you know, 10 to 15 minutes. So you can ask your questions. Okay. But so if
question
I'm
is
giving,
not regarding the concepts. When we will be doing parallel with you, we'll be developing some of our APIs. If we are stuck at some error, then how can we approach you?
okay, so you can share your screen and I can solve that particular. So I'll give that particular option. Okay.
Okay.
And if you are practicing on the weekends, try to post that error code in the WhatsApp group. We will create one WhatsApp group so that we can help you.
Okay, thank you.
So it's not like, you know, guys, one more thing. So if you got some valuable content, okay, or if you have some issue, so try to share with a chunk of group. So someone try to help you out. Okay. It is not just like, you know, you are holding that particular error or you're holding that particular doubt and you are not asking that particular question. So you will not get any answer that in your entire career. Okay. So put it in a proper way. Okay. Even if you have some question, don't hesitate to ask. Okay. So if you are not asking any questions in this particular group, you might not get chance to clarify that particular thing. Maybe you will get it or you may not get it. Okay. But don't hesitate to ask any question. Okay. So that is the bare minimum expectation that I was, you know, trying to get it from. Okay. So listen properly the classes, try to practice it. You will have recording sessions. Okay. And if you are practicing one or two APIs, you are good to go for your interviews, guys. Okay. So I'm telling this particular thing. Okay. If you are explaining this way, no one is going to ask you cross question saying that, hey, why you do that way? Or they will not, you know, judge you on your particular experience on your real time. Okay. Yeah, go on.
As you earlier told that once RAML is updated and we like synchronization, we talk about synchronization, right? Like updating manually. You told another option, like can you?
Yeah, endpoint platform on synchronization.
Yeah, one. Can you show that?
Yeah. Go to this endpoint platform and download RAML from Design Center. This one. If you are clicking on this, it will try to show you. First of all, you need to configure your credentials space. Okay. Once you configure that particular credentials, it will try to give you what is the Design Center project that you want to synchronize. So you need to select that and it will automatically update your Anypoint Studio RAML.
So without disturbing the developer flows, it will update rather.
It will update it. Yeah, it will update your RAMLs. And if you require scaffolding, you can go to your API. Okay, your main API, and you can right click on it. You can go to this particular option. You'll generate flows from RAML. Okay.
Yeah.
We are not talking about only one particular option, guys. Okay, so we are going to show you multiple ways of doing everything. So you need to understand which scenario we need to use Okay, so I'll try to guide you on that particular basis. And whenever there will be some questions on your interviews, you need to explain that. So, and my suggestion is, whenever you're, learning anything, stick to your basics. Okay, and try to understand the concept rather than by hearting or putting the statements. Don't do that. Okay, try to explain the concept in your interviews. Okay, so you will get too much of points in that. Okay, so they will try to impress the way that you are trying to explain. So try to explain the concepts, not just like giving the statements. Okay, not like defining something. Okay, if you are trying to explain that way, so you will get more chances that you take it. Okay. Kishore, you want to take?
Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you for attending this session. So any queries, you can reach out to me. I can help you. See, whatever he explained today, like everything complete end-to-end procedure, which we are going to follow in our real-time organization, right? So for this, what we will do tomorrow onwards, we are going to implement everything in a practical way. Okay, what we will do? First, we will see the HLD, high-level document. After that, we will see, FD and TD, functional document, technical documents, and then data mapping sheet. After that, we are going to create a account for you in the Jira. Okay, what we will do? We can give you access to the Jira. So there we are going to assign the requirement. So once we assign that requirement in the Jira, then we are going to start our actual implementation. So the moment whenever if you start your work, what you need to do, you have to update your status in the Jira. Okay, so there are a couple of options you will get: to do, in progress, completed, hold. Like this, you will get a couple of options. Whatever you are doing, so that you have to change it over there. So the moment you change over there, what we will do, we are going to notice there. Okay, this guy is working on this story or theory. Okay, like this, we are going to monitor that. Whatever we are going to implement here, same like how we are going to implement in our project, same we are going to implement it here. Okay, here you will get complete end-to-end scenarios. Okay. Apart from this, some people are already attending, giving interviews and all, right? So try to attend the interviews as many as, and just make a note of all the questions, whatever interviewer he asked, and whatever you explain. If you have any difficulties to answer those kind of questions, you can feel free to ask him, so that he is going to help you to fix that problem, right? And daily 2 hours sessions will be there. We will give you 5 minutes of break for every 1 hour. Okay, after that we will continue this class. Okay, so tomorrow onwards, paid sessions. So we will start complete practical sessions from tomorrow onwards. Okay, so if you want to enroll, you can directly reach out to me. I can help you. Any questions?
Today recording?
Today recording I'm gonna post in the same group we created, right? Real-time project group. Or else you can directly text to me. So I'm going to share you this recording after 1 hour. Why? Because first thing, it may take some time. Okay. After that, I need to download this recording. Then I need to upload to YouTube. So this may take some time. Okay. So once it is done, I'm going to share that link to with you guys. Okay.
Sure. Post your phone number or.
Yeah. I hope everyone will have my number, right?
Yes, sir.
Anyone is joined, differently, like through someone. No, right? Everyone will have my number, right? You all will be the, part of some group,
Can
right?
you share it again?
Yeah, just make a note. It's 8660
Okay, 212995, right?
2995. Yep, you're right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we are going to provide all the documents and interview questions, everything. Okay. Okay, then we'll catch up on tomorrow. Okay. Any
Thanks,
questions?
guys. Thanks for your time. Okay. So
Yeah.
probably like I'll wait tomorrow.
Thanks all. Thanks for your time.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Take care.